Nina. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm here with Neat and Tangled, and I'm going to be sharing with you a couple cards featuring some of the newest products from Neat and Tangled's October release. This card features not only the Big Hugs die, but it also features a couple of the really cool new stencils that Neat and Tangled has created. Now these stencils are technically meant to be used with the Scandinavian prints stamp sets. However, these can be used by themselves, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to be able to use these on your cards to create fun backgrounds. Here's also the Big Hugs die. I love the big font on this. This is really fun, and it's a really nice big size so that it goes onto your card and takes center stage as the focal point. Now we're also going to be using some of the Simon Says stamped Glimmer cardstocks. I love these cardstocks. They're absolutely beautiful. They're basically colored cardstocks that have a metallic sheen to them, which is really stunning. I love the effect. We're going to be adding even more shimmer to these by using some Nuvo Embellishment Mousse. The embellishment mousse from Tonic Studios is absolutely wonderful. It's basically like embossing paste, but a little bit more creamier. This has more of a buttery substance rather than a texture paste where it has a little bit more of a thicker consistency. I'm spreading this onto my stencil with a cotton cloth. I find this is really easy to do, but you could also use your fingers. I've done that as well. Both get beautiful results. I'm applying a very thin coat of this embellishment mousse onto my paper. You don't need a lot to be able to create this gorgeous effect. So I'm just going to continue adding on this embellishment mousse until I have the stencil completely covered with my first layer. There you can see the shine that we have both from the metallic cardstock and from that embellishment mousse. The results are beautiful. I'm going to do the same thing with the purple cardstock, and this time I'm going to take a purple color of this embellishment mousse and I'm going to apply this onto my stencil as well. Now I'm going to have all the colors of the embellishment mousse and cardstocks that I used on my blog, so be sure to head on over to check that out. I'll have a link in the video description, and I'll also have links to the products in the video description as well. I'm applying the mousse onto my paper, just making sure I get all of these stencil prints covered, and then I'll go ahead and remove the stencil off of my cardstock, and you can see the beautiful results that we have. Now you can leave these just as it is, but I want to go ahead and add a second layer. However, I need to let those dry, so I'm going to set them aside and work on my die cuts next. The embellishment mousse doesn't take very much time to dry. Now the die cuts I have cut from some black glitter cardstock, which I actually made using some black glitter embossing powder, and I'll have that linked in the video description as well. I just basically covered a piece of white cardstock with the black embossing powder and then heat set it, and that left me with this beautiful glittery cardstock, which is perfect for die cutting. Now I'm also die cut this Big Hugs die from a bunch of different pieces of white cardstock as well, and that's so that way I can layer these up to create a more dimensional sentiment. I'm taking 3 of them. I'm going to use 3 on the back side of each of my glitter pieces, and I'm going to spray them with some liquid glue into a box. The box is just containing the glue to make sure it doesn't get on my work surface, and then I'll go ahead and remove the die cuts off of the box and attach them on top of each other one by one. And then once I had those 3 layered together, I added one more coat of glue on top, and then I layered my glitter cardstock piece on top of the 3 die cuts that were stacked together. And this creates a really great dimensional sentiment for our card. Now my embellishment mousse has dried, so it's time to move on to the next layer. This time I'm taking silver and applying it on top of my cardstock. The first coat I had used was with the pink, and now I'm using the silver. And I'm just going along and covering up the dots on this stencil until I have them all completely covered. Then I'll remove the stencil, and you can see the great bokeh dot pattern that we have going on here by layering up those dots. I left it at 2 for this card, but you could add a 3rd layer. That would look really amazing too. Now for the other stencil, I'm going to actually turn this sideways, so it's going to be going in the opposite direction that our first layer had gone. And I'm going to take some of that same silver embellishment mousse, and I'm going to apply this into my stencil. Now you want to be careful. I got a little heavy-handed on this round. You could do very thick layers of embellishment mousse on your cardstock. However, I ended up getting a lot of that embellishment mousse on the edges of this stencil, so it ended up seeping underneath the stencil in spots, and it didn't create such a crisp line as it did on the first round. And it's okay. It's a handmade card, so little imperfections like that are totally fine, and I'm happy with the card anyway. But here you can see I'm going to add a 3rd layer of that embellishment mousse, and this time again with the purple. Now I chose 3 layers for this one because I wanted to show you how you can add as many layers as you want of this embellishment mousse, and the colors aren't going to blend. You're going to have separation between the two colors that you've applied down. So when you're applying this over top of each layer, you really get to have a lot of control with how the color applies down, and you get a lot of really cool layering effects. Here's our two backgrounds completely finished, and I'm going to get ready to go ahead and start building my cards now. I'm going to take one of the new dies from Neat and Tangled. This is the scallop die, and it's actually a set of different scallop frames. There's the largest one here, and then there's a bunch of smaller ones, and also some mini banners. We're going to be using that banner there down on the bottom with the wavy appearance. I really love this die set. It's got a lot of great pieces that are perfect for building cards. I'm going to go ahead and run this through my Bake Shop machine, and then I'll go ahead and start working on building this card. I'm taking some liquid glue and applying it to the back side of my die cuts, and then I'll go ahead and lay these down onto the top center portion of my card. This big Hugs comes in two different pieces, so I took the first side and lined it up next to the G and the S to make sure I had my spacing right, and then I applied some liquid glue to the back side of those and then layered them up right next to each other on this paper. I'll apply a clear block over top just to give it something to give some pressure onto the paper and help bond those pieces to my cardstock. Now the purple piece I die cut with a stitched rectangle die from Simon's Stamp, and I really love how it adds that nice simple detail to the edges of the card. I didn't go with the scallops on this one because we had a lot going on with the background and I wanted it to stay fairly simple. I'm going to add more liquid glue to the back side of the second die cuts that I have for my sentiment, and I'll go ahead and layer these up onto the left-hand side of this card. This card is going to be a horizontal format, whereas the other one was a vertical, and I just wanted to be able to show you the difference on how you can lay these out really easily and create some really great focal points. Now I also wanted to stamp a sentiment using that little banner, so I took a sentiment which is from the Say Yes to Donuts stamp set, and this ends up saying "From All of Us." I curved it on my block a little bit to kind of match up with the curve on the banner, and I stamped it down first with some cotton candy ink. However, I didn't like how the pink looked with the pink on the cardstock, so I ended up stamping back over top of it with purple, and I liked that a lot better. I'm going to add some foam tape to the back side of my banner just to give it some dimension off of my card. And because this banner is curved, I want to make sure that the foam tape is curved as well. And I find that's easiest if I take the adhesive backing off of the foam tape and then apply it down onto my cardstock, because you can manipulate it much better rather than if you had the adhesive backing on the back side of that foam tape. I'll go ahead and lay this down onto my card, and then I also added a few sparkling clear sequins, which are absolutely perfect for adding little embellishments to your cards. You don't have to have the sequins on here. I think the card looked great just as it was, but I love adding sequins to my cards, so I went ahead and added some of those scattered around the sentiment. And I'm adhering these down with some glossy accents because they are clear, so I want to make sure you can't see the adhesive through these sequins. Here's a look on how that card ends up finishing off. Really sparkly and shiny. I love how beautiful this card is and how much of an impact it makes having that sentiment center stage on our card. Now for the other card, I'm going to go ahead and attach down a banner that I ended up trimming the ends off of so that way it looks like it was tucked behind the word Hugs. I put a bit of foam tape on the right-hand side of the banner, but then the left-hand side of the banner is adhered down with some regular adhesive. So it adds a little bit of interest to the banner because it's not popped up across the entire banner, it's popped up only in certain areas. I also added some clear sequins to this card as well, just sprinkled a few of them around the sentiment. And then I also wanted to add a bit of sparkle to the card bases itself. So I'm taking my Spectrum Noir clear overlay pen, this is the clear glitter, and I'm applying it to the edges of both of my cards. I shared this technique in another video that I have up for today as well, and this is a great way to get your own custom glitter papers because you can apply this over top of colored cardstocks or white and have your own custom glitter papers. So here's a look at the two finished cards and how they came together. I really love how sparkly and shiny they are and how much fun it is to be able to use not only your stencils in some really fun patterns, but also how much that sparkle and shine from the shimmery cardstock and the embellishment mousse really paired up so well together to create these beautiful shimmery cards. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed, here's another one you might like featuring Neat and Tangled products. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below and head on over to my blog where you can get more information on this card and also the newest products from Neat and Tangled's new October release. You can follow me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, as well as my blog. And thanks so much for watching. I will see you again soon.